is. It's recording now. And I just run it one file the whole time.
She was talking to us. Coaches, now. The whole unfair safety disease kind of thing, man. I got over here. I'm going to say 6 months. And because of my notes last year, I go through people learning regularity. That's it. That's why I vote for it. So I can vote for it. Because I don't have to figure out that plan and add it. Yeah. Well, I have to do an article with it. Or like maybe I'm going to especially if it's you're really good.
They're not mine. It looks like there is. You gotta ask Emory.
Jared. It's outside of shoe.
The only thing I did wrong. I didn't set that.
He is on his way. So let's be ready when he gets here. Sorry. What's this with? This is the highlight soundtrack. Probably one of the finer movies of the year. So, play the story around.
I like how it's complete.
Really? So you're never angry? You get bigger. Let's go. Okay.
Doing good?
Contention 1A now,
Congress to use foreign assistance laws, having Congress approved 1.7 billion for UNPC with half 10 out of 70 billion in unrestricted funding for U.S. military operation in Afghanistan. Iraq Congress also provided 1.8 billion for counter base winners that changed for years for the $400 million. Was Iraq still speaking 2.4 billion to between 1.3 billion to build 540 million emergency aid for Afghanistan requires administration to first certify the government of Karzai's operating efforts and eradicate battlefields and the U.S. has sent 3,200 Marines to Afghanistan, Emory 3,200 U.S. Marines to be sent to Afghanistan, which proved deployment Marines was recommended by Gates and a $27 billion increase in reconstruction assistance block to 7. 2001 U.S. appropriated $15 billion to Afghanistan in February. The administration requested $12.3 billion in additional funding, and the U.S. has given $183 billion to the Air Corps, AB 8 out of Tarzan, and a new $22 million U.S. for an hour of Tarzan Air Tarzan. The U.S. British transport helicopters and helicopters from $183 million U.S. funding for the full Afghan Air Corps contingent to is NATO. The U.S. is down force in Afghanistan, Washington Post 8. Gates issued the last from down one of member states. The first cash fleet is to Washington and security partners in NATO rarely seen since the Cold War, passing down incredibly from the channel with the NATO created Afghanistan cabinet blood on official proposals. The U.S. force to take charge of missions to Afghanistan with the top uncertainty and strongest information on the dialogue with NATO. Neil said U.S. troops in Afghanistan are concentrated in the border fight to make its fault for the country, and U.S. support is keeping NATO's credibility. Dallas 8. Afghanistan tests U.S. leadership alliance. I'm asked question with U.S. movements against its alliance preserves mutual self-obligation, most fluid territory alliance guide. The U.S. will progress on leadership resources and key European countries are able U.S. leadership will fail and to rebuild the national score. The U.S. must change the Afghan strategy in first 8. The requirement for U.S. strategy is supported by Goldstone, weakening resolve in national community. The effort of Afghanistan to accept the conclusion of the country considered number of troops in Afghanistan divided by U.S. and U.S. forces beyond whom utility. The Afghanistan is a single and wavering in national sport across the line stones and breaking in all 8. Some nations with missions failing, some NATO countries wavering their homes, but in some public strong public opposition to Canada, the Netherlands, Germany, threatened by the coalition increasing the mission will be politically vulnerable in Afghanistan. Considered after creating momentum in Afghanistan is due to reverse backsliding failure and NATO MDT to 7. If NATO capitulation increased dramatically, European government state final public opposition making it possible seeing their point on the ground B and one stroke include all actively conclusive data on NATO's future, considering Red Side Iraq and concerns of Iran filling Afghanistan through the ultimate blow to NATO's future with clock taking Afghanistan time to come sooner rather than later. And its reverse causally boost NATO. Card 6 and NATO's street coordination of Afghanistan. NATO's engagement with visible sign of alliance with tackling 20th century Afghanistan has become a cascade NATO's transformation from offering a remote to turning national force to the military requirements to turn to finish definitions important to NATO's this for Afghanistan and collapse of NATO causes supercurrent war assault and engaged in the environment potentially non-safe Russia stolen the player of the universal number potential civil war in Europe and coming to fight European visa irreversible path that because NATO makes any threat people being kind of right to that within the 5 Russian countries no military plans except but then NATO to do the job of NATO which is all even would be a place to fight chaos and every year we're just in fashion solve the profit and conditions to freeze Afghan instability. The U.S. is losing Afghanistan of course to make U.S. and NATO are not winning in Afghanistan making detailed sense especially uncertain the fact that people classified data and most importantly not getting more posturing never classified data is available from interviews and sources back here to make some key realities clear and despite increasing 2007 10 least year for Afghanistan shows that figure 8. The mission to stabilize Afghanistan is faltering despite a significant increase in the number of foreign troops and violence and dramatic as Afghan influence is common. While 2007 has been a deadly for Afghanistan, most media threat to Afghanistan comes from the anti-government search for considerably the Taliban has been able to infiltrate especially in the south and instability. 2008 is the make right here for Afghanistan. Let's say 2008 is the pivot year of development. Afghanistan the situation is reached class decision for the Taliban is entrenched in the south. Should this prove hard to consolidate tribe by militants? The insurgency will then new dangerous state. The inability to pass the international actors counting insurgency is deeply troubling and instability escalation in Russia, Iran, India, and Pakistan. Rashid 6. The target's double and becoming far side. Taliban will split its future. Respond to this president action cause massive mobilization on the Afghan people. Encourage mullahs to be back to Taliban, Russia, Iran, India, and central Asian states will rearm and mobilize mullahs to start developing efforts towards international and violence to one Afghanistan. That's the conflict and take the Pakistan CDS and Afghanistan. Now the desire is desperate struggling against extremism. Will now the loss of life in Afghanistan is here. The outcome also be here. Down itself and change public comments here. The intervention of the family will then nuclear war star 1. Central Asian faces more data respect for Afghanistan. Since corresponds to the president of all central Asian instability on island Russia, Turkey, Russia, Iran, China, water, maybe all have some central Asian backyard to be to world peace and filling Afghanistan by the economy first terrorist attacks in 2007. Loss in Afghanistan is a Taliban good solution against the U.S. lost war terrorists and building the whole now had military source campaigns that would be dangerous for the U.S. to abandon Afghanistan on atrocity to be slammed to break some states global economic recovery. The Afghanistan impact and picture of Afghanistan a significant negative effect on American global economy and flow for good and slaughter of drugs and immigration and that the influx of science, politics, innovation, police, U.S. economic growth, and global competitiveness and even war, 92 billion and hopes on the international market economy, global economy, savage, globalization, international competition, and influence people and influence push danger to world order extinction, 45, the combination of 4 rebels, a certain combination of demand, a battalion, because of the line of the high power against the first lots of nuclear strike on 9/11 conversion track, world leaders, and some of the cocktails of the farms, water, crossing, bar, youth, never got opportunity, Troy, like the Chinese mission, we can also increase by the calculated, more reckless and current efforts to use the Afghan Air Force and mission government before 8. The more capable the U.S. has been preparing to enable initial force of your tests and force weapon perform in Afghanistan, making the force defense to be easier, making U.S. force of legitimate only in global security force of deployment among the highest forward military missions, which is not so today. The 75 U.S. needs to improve its capability for strengthening local capabilities and a trained Afghan Air Corps will stabilize Afghanistan borders. 8. Afghanistan pledging Air Corps beyond its flight convention for at least 2013 is obviously putting the consequences of all the state power 43 because spending usually operational and light attack around 2015 U.S. Federal City Hope Afghanistan for one operational will extend the military to the country and Afghanistan just to do the launch of helicopters window 8. We're all well on the 7 required 3 helicopters, 1 required 2, we're all well on the way required 9 more helicopters, 6 months required 2 more for paying time, more for company running the UAE will then more than double the capability we produce rapid capability of the AAC, but there's no one to fly them, 0 more 8. And the Afghan Air Force, some of the line trained personnel in the Asian Air Force, the average pilot, average Air Force pilot is 40 feet, some of them block for 15 years, the Afghan military is not trained. New pilots since 1992, they're very conscious of they do not have the resources and helicopters capacity to summon Afghanistan and defense X7. The helicopter shortage is industry operational problems, the operations, 5,000 operations, some Afghanistan, not possible black road obstruction of high threat of IED and ambush by Taliban, so there's General Luna, and that's key cycle 6. The border attack management, especially troublesome security, split reconstruction of Afghanistan and state around the Taliban, continue to operate, particularly Pakistan, the border security, seriously imperial Afghanistan transformation, and Afghan forces minimize civilian casualties, looking over the Afghan public UC7, one of the best forces for solution, strengthen local military forces, most civilian casualties caused by international chief political security forces, and minimize civilian death, NATO troops will be helpful to be more effective local security forces, which anything given chasing Afghan troops, federal armed tradition, religious principles, and following certain is relying more on reinforcement, support, and strengthening, and gaining Afghan public utility, insurgency 707. Insurgency will run for a long surge to defend the population, support the population, and form a fundamental intelligence sanctuaries of crucial importance that action in terms of insurgency will have nowhere to go. The population can assist and encourage young generation to within effectively protect the popular fundamental supports fundamental to the survival of the insurgency, and without sufficient resources, new pilots patrol, with sufficient resources, new pilots patrol on May 7. The Afghans have the motivation to run and monitor the country to travel and want a better life by continuing to support the Afghan Air Force, welcome the fully capable, self-sustaining, and Air Force people of meeting security with Afghanistan potential for solvency. Afghanistan wants a separate Air Force limitation to launch sensibility and trust everything to launch Afghanistan to provide Air Force and destroy one insurgents need to rebuild their aircraft factories and Afghans like Air Force jets, helicopters, and cargo planes. And Karzai continually calls for a carrier PPC-7. The cover of Afghanistan quickly calls the direction to be more checked out the ANA and says deploying more forces will return Afghanistan to the Afghan troops come capable of defending borders and defending the Afghan troops will reduce the high cost of the forces to each of the stars more than 30 tactical funding and Afghan soldiers to overseas capture looking for force and pave the way for gradual withdrawal from the country, and Afghanistan will say yes to yes 7. A U.S. mentorship effort is enabling the AAC to work force new heights and new growth relations with American mentors over all exchange ideas and experiences for effective operations around the world taking critical pride in serving the AAC by purchasing training and one serving to help reconstruction so we can stand and run. Additionally, continuing on conditioning security aid on fiscal sustainability is critical to ensure the institutions got fuel and stability abroad their 7. And importantly, prioritize quality with quantities and Afghanistan will not be able to influence the same security sector institutions who grow long-term financial sustainability who told these institutions themselves becoming a source of insecurity and to them become major security problems or insufficient funds to get salaries to be able to prioritize fiscal sustainability security sector funds seriously than mind the development of other critically important components of Afghanistan to be a particularly serious problem in assistance currently filed with the security expenditures and never against decline the serious security sector federal crowd spending aid supporting economic growth and Afghanistan to bring Pakistan's problems not the other way around. Projects are bringing Pakistan from mess and Afghanistan to get the equation backwards. Pakistan is the same problem forward with search there. It's a spillover from Afghanistan, not the other way around. The problems have to be resolved in Afghanistan. There's a direct link between security and decreasing cost of cultivation style of famines and negotiated demonstrated by survey. There is a direct link between the of security and decreased cost of cultivation and security is limited to ability to sense open donors by economic development and Iran is not looking at Afghanistan CSM7. Afghanistan relations for the past 6 years have been acceptable for the past 6 years. Iran's been singled out as the definitely made violence since the size of Iran has been close and peaceful ally and training the Afghans is more effective than forming more international troops. Observer 8. Attacks by the Taliban in Afghanistan surged last year, 70% of the incidents took place in just 10% of the country. Canada's going to withdraw troops who have been fighting the South and taking up national relations that do more fighting resources on fighting more training out to the nation. Afghan army would do more good deploying more soldiers and increasing training itself. The rate of AAC deployment in Lindell 8. Pilots that are flying every day is around 50 miles per hour to get this airport more assets will qualify and requalify more costly. After find out nothing grows to gain more assets, more capability, and local forces are uniquely more effective than the first government report 8. Whether police and military forces need to deploy best ones using those battle state itself and search by the Eastern Martial Law Company Actual Forces, Military Convention, Occupation by foreign military military more fine developers, take from certain local officers and American ones. The local personnel will know customs like incidents found in 4 ones, and the AAC is key to supply the troops and car 7 in Afghanistan and across not just but economic also troops and fly train hampered by Afghanistan's many mountains and 4 roads and thus, the plan the United States federal government should offer the government as an extended agreement to considerably increase its training of the Afghan National Army Air Corps. In addition, the government of Afghanistan agrees to prioritize the fiscal sustainability of the Afghan National Army Air Corps more than itself fair when Afghanistan leads to extension to the United States. We can predict the consequences of Afghanistan reversing the safety and terrorist bomb use of influence to directing more trade U.S. interests, America's influence, proceeds around the world, with all standing for our allies. We conclude we cannot back our commitments on any groups they've been emboldened. They would seek further opportunities to weaken the international state system that is primarily the defense of civilization.
Okay. Get the plan next, right?
Yeah. 6 years. It's a good quote. If Afghanistan does not prioritize the fiscal sustainability of the ANAAC, then you don't give them any training. How do they show that they're prioritizing it?
While their evidence is descriptive of a need to increase the role and support of the Ministry of Finance, because currently that ministry has little power, they need to be able to develop a plan to indicate that they can fund the Air Corps once the U.S. withdraws,
So
because currently there's no long-term sustainability.
Oh, okay. So they can just develop any plan? Does it say like,
I mean, I guess I'm asking how why the evidence says would meet the standards that the United States sets as being fiscally sustainable.
Or while their evidence is specific to the training of indigenous forces and how the U.S. is currently doing it.
is your Wilder card the card that draws the connection between training them and the fiscal sustainability, or is the training them come from a different card?
No, that's not Wilder.
Yeah.
show me where.
Okay, Afghanistan will not be able to independently sustain security sector institutions. Ignoring fiscal sustainability issues could result in institutions themselves becoming a source of instability. The ANA become a major security.
I just want the part where it says the U.S. should train them. This is, it seems to me this is just about the prioritization.
Oh, yeah, this is the
sustainability
quote. It says
I'm
when we
asking, okay,
engage
where
in-
does this links to quit to the quote?
This evidence, it says that if we give money to the ANA, but it doesn't prioritize the fiscal sustainability,
Martin,
in
if
the
you
long
don't
run,
think our
that money
cards
will
good, read
support
the
conservative
unconditional counterclaim and I bet.
No, I'm just. Your NATO solves global nuclear wars from '98 before the Russian economy collapsed. Is there a reason why there's still a risk of this impact?
I mean, the Russian economy has rebounded substantially since 1998, so that's the only reason why it would be
Well, I
around.
mean, it kind of assumes like the Russia that existed before the economy collapsed. They're kind of
I don't really
maybe a little bit
think
more.
that's true.
It wouldn't.
I think that
It's from '98.
the argument is that like Putin's government is more liberal than Wilson.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know if that's true.
The impacts to Central or to Afghan stability are Central Asia stability, terrorism, economy. Is that it?
This is a Giuliani card that just kind of says the last way we can extinction, the ones also sort of terrorism and Central Asia world and our evidence indicates that it was.
There was something that about India, Pakistan.
Yeah, well, that's the.
Yeah. Anything else I'm missing there? The only impacts are NATO and those four?
Yes.
That's it? Okay. Since Afghanistan has to be stabilized by the end of 2008, does that mean that your impacts will occur before the end of 2008? Or does it just mean that we won't be able to solve them after that and there's a longer time frame?
No, it's more of a solvency evidence. Our Thomas evidence indicates that 08 is the critical year for the Taliban to become entrenched if we do not adopt a plan this
So
year.
when will stability turn into all this terribleness?
I don't know, I think we're going on a pretty good time frame because 07 was the deadliest year and that 08 will escalate because the Taliban will become entrenched.
Okay, can I keep this? We need a little. No, I don't think so. Is your time up? Do we have any other? I think so.
About a month. 1 month.
Do you want to do that?
Yeah. 30 or 35. 30 or 35.
Here's the text to this one. Okay? And then just read these. Well, she is. Read after. There's no doubt. Yes. This is T violation. Counterfeit text. These are the cards.
Alright, I'm up.
Aaron, how much do we have left? Were you guys saying?
7:50.
Alright. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 off. Actually, 7 off. NATO advantage, stability. Actually, stability is in NATO. Oh, there. Okay, well, never mind. NATO then stability. I'll tell you when, okay? Yeah, I know. Constructive engagement must be unconditional from bottom of 99. Constructive engagement must be a misconception for the list and inherit all to the state rather than emerge from through dialogue. And this originated by the U.S. diplomacy of South Africa from David in 2007. The benefits of constructive engagement over fighting in South Africa also pretty much there's also places of the engagement that fails also to respond to the opposite washes of not having any negative alternative. And historic reference is the first special for analysis from back in 2003 unless there are arguments that past analysis also switching relevant. So we're looking at the point that the resource beneath the surface become the only historical belief. These events violation of proposed or conditional, not constructive engagement must hold them to that. Conditional engagement refers to the negotiated exchange between the government of the United States the positive inducements to change the undertake. The target since you see typicality is rule, order to the plan also falls. Certain topic for you ignores the jurisdictional restraint requires that you go from the negate. We also have reasons for our interpretation is to point by directionality for proposed must be the plan conditional loss for to eliminate every generic negative argument by saying engagement is good about it. The conditional engagement are inevitable, the negative also should have them become based upon its predictable limits. There are an endless number of combinations includes and coordination to make the negative unimpossible to target for. The plan also solves the opposite of introduces new problems and sequencing in literature next substantially substantially must be given to the meaning. This is the best way to appeal the full context from Davinsky in 2002. The court the erroneously concluded determined substantially of the claim that definite ambiguity is all the context of the question whether substantially increase the mean to double the context point from Durban in 2006. The question is also whether that proposal should be modified to substantial scale of the resolution be supported violation the permanent is not and we defend on the willing for assistance to see the point between one is to keep or benefit of conditionality to seek and characterize and increase too long to contribute length the negative dissents the negative all should be able to win a definitional debate for it. The counterpoint of the ground second of the second education how we when the age of the heart of debate reflection in 2004 for 3 years debate is also over this is also largely the amount allows us the amount of assistance and the plan doesn't specify the age of the plan allows the front of the 2000 counterpoint settling makes the additional negative ground also avoid the crucial discussion of the education which also feels education plan gets also because there is no agency given the authority. That's on the paper. And next proposed cannot be contrived. They must be a product of from bartering from Wise Geek 2003 proposed. Or a Latin term also translated. This is pedantic proposal also the laws of world leaders are often about the quick and person exchanges. And this is key to predictability education and bolded 2007 political versus also helps key to the understanding thinking I have the pursuit and below the negotiation of this plan as a voter for competitive grounds key to negative research strategy and the reason all increased randomization for this allows to maintain the class in education. Next is shunning Afghanistan's evil from inside 2006 people see the corrupt Karzai government is also part of the ordinary people of Karzai is a corrupt justice and this is the reason to vote for Belfast in 1889. There's another level of moral duties involved in the rights of the world is also showing the self-effect of the criminal such behaviors also tolerable undermining moral showing maybe moral effect and moral effect of some person. Next is Russia, US failures in Afghanistan also sent the US might ban the Karzai solidify the Russian-Afghanistan relations. Russian-Afghanistan repression is based on the Karzai's decision to engage Russia over the US. The plan will undercut these relations and force Russia out. Afghanistan Russia repression is critical to prevent the re-emergence of Chechnya conflict provided civility in terms of case from in 2007 the shooting of the situation helicopters also held in Afghanistan disconnected military cooperation and Karzai government Russia was major Karzai turned towards the continued deterioration of the military situation in Afghanistan. Karzai stated that the changes in the White House believed that anything Karzai led Russia understand himself with allies in Malaysia. The rationality is to target the source of the vacuum checking the conflict continues. The Russian authorities expressing concern that the near environment MoState equipped help in type of backup for Russia needs it, but the instability could disrupt the oil supplies clearly in connection with the Islamic Afghanistan Karzai government would be the severe political situation against the situation government region wide the Karzai government American retreat from could be the new situation. This would be the Russia's also the situation closer to each other. Recent Afghan Russia veto approach indicates anti-Chechen conflict Russia will spark nuclear war from NDT in 2001. Moscow also not against the nuclear war force to the Russian presidency. And Turkey is having these days to already supplied by the fighting the Washington hobbies also being into Afghanistan recently. And Church of Chechen Muslim segment. The United States federal government should offer the government of Afghanistan an agreement considerably concerning Afghanistan over the airport conditions of the government of Afghanistan increase the prioritize fiscal sustainability of Afghan National Army Corps. Well, as determined by the assessment of their absorbed capacity, and Afghanistan is at the risk of capacity overload from rising on February 13th in Afghanistan, the military will focus on through civilization with the government research to non-governmental institutional law will make part of the Afghanistan counter-carry the document ministry of the capacity ability to conduct also in and are still billions substantial aid surges are risk Dutch disease by crushing the export sector propelling 2005 challenge with substantial Dutch disease the impact of all foreign currency demand trail to the bottlenecks price the advantage to the world reduce competitors to export the industry cheaper and weaken the benefits associated with trade substantially increases likely to cause significant appreciation in the export sector and the hit on the export sector triggers economic shocks from revenue to economic development of the growth sustained interruption of the export of the major consequences cannot be reversed and growth shocks are cause conflict big risk from big guide. 2004 growth risk of the is dramatic potential of the livelihood for the point of the risk shocks of 1/2 of cause. The greater range of the characteristic economic conditions are most critical nexus NATO collapse is inevitable over the commitment because overcommitment and expansion PR Newswire in 2008 NATO's oil risk collapse investment the change of litigation for problematic environments survival should be granted especially the alliance although there was and some events PR Newswire which is new Newswire in 2008 to the member states 9 times the United States once build change for the also should be the elected in NATO's the David proposal dividing NATO and Afghanistan's failure doesn't collapse in the okay, no, and you want to read this? Okay, no, okay. And NATO collapse strengthens European Union security ties, solves the European Wars in Gallagher in 2003. NATO supported the NATO role and ability to try to what's portable power with every European nation to NATO allow European nations to strengthen their defense capabilities support recognizes and this solves the NATO's responsibilities better from countering 1996. NATO is out of place in the environment that started for American Europeans no longer interested in NATO left for Washington even events for the Europeans the WE's also states have security interest Western European nations have the ability economic research much I would like to view the WE as less proactive Central Asia instabilities inevitable water border disputes energy poverty and extremism from NATO for Europe in 2006 Central Asia is also long-standing water disputes potential to destabilize the region so all the management factors until the region Caspian levels of the shore 9 so 9 Central Asia water countries the against Kazakhstan Uzbekistan are all the energy water consumers of the sources border disputes competition and other energy resources and relief to comprise the party authoritarian and religious extremity and Uzbekistan are working with Uzbekistan also come to board with Central Asia to Afghanistan as well as support the law tolerance and there's a political social and economic policy Uzbekistan is likely to be able to stand Uzbekistan peers to be a political point of the region international developments of Uzbekistan also like the words of where some people also the regime Christ may lead to general destabilization situation that can create neighbor the region the west of the BBC the English Uzbekistan has also go to the influence the waste also versus the increases therefore the pressure to Uzbekistan was moderation and radical Islam from court while insulting the 2000s relations to ruin such economic sources coupled with the authority also government the Islamic regional from zero the radical Islam the latest Uzbekistan the protocol fighters the only way to Tajikistan and Uzbekistan really rethink down the period radical Islam upset the regional stability and danger single regimes and the AOLC for Shah in 2001 to see better the world with also the largest the AOLC the degradation due to think AOLC and going to collapse global pushing industry to return to the also the rest of the instability among the Central Asian Republic and the conflict doesn't escalate economic and interest in foreign influence from all here and signed in 2005 there are factors of less like the economic systems of the cooperation regional regional Russian war forces place civilization in Tajikistan and again and future and resources all here studied in 2005 there's also how the community competition also part of the power of the very power competition also like unlike the result of competition so moderate groups of other shared interests and the outside part of the question is more cooperation to boost and maintain the party to the later deep like conflict and the economy is resilient conscription in 2000 political economy is more resilient during the last 20 years based on the agencies that were making these some of the union impacts of the questions we are the questioners and no impact war integrity and making the impacts of what the conflict destabilizes the distance and the speculation not the same impacts in the end but even less the powers that have slide into and terrorist example from 100,000 to protect the terrorist attack public also need to do so as terrorist example more evidence more justice you can't even do there the end of the things the way they do so side of havoc terrorist cannot retaliation US interest cap 418 the search for us the other countries to go have self moderation the American part of the also security of security using the regimes who are married to the area of security interest and no political capital for Burma 2004 the happens also the United States domestic which cannot make strong domestic for the experience of domestic surveillance controls the time opinion and SEO and China prevent prevent escalation of gossip 6 times 30. Then appreciate that the Shanghai Cooperation Organization also includes the newspaper that is also put out on the SCSO now. Mature companies are working engaged with the also become the country so become the integration escalation on the SO. This is according to the ideal player to civilize view. That's right.
Okay, other resolutions, can you pick your country? Okay, let's talk about Europe-Russia here for a second. Your piece of, never mind, evidence. Says, conflict continues to smolder. Russian authorities are concerned with the spread of radical jihadists in Russia and also concerned with instability in the near abroad, mostly in Central Asia. I don't really understand. Your argument is that instability pushes Russia and Afghanistan closer together, but is there any part of this card which actually says that that'll prevent instability? Because your evidence just says that instability causes wars in Chechnya. Our advantage is instability in Afghanistan.
Now, our evidence indicates that that pushes them closer together. Your plan claims to solve for instability in Central Asia and Afghanistan.
The only reason why it's good for them to be pushed together is so that they can prevent instability in Central Asia.
No, in Chechnya. Our evidence indicates that instability in Afghanistan pushes Afghanistan and the Russian government closer together by cooperating. They can solve instability in Chechnya, which wouldn't spill over otherwise.
What your evidence actually says is conflict continues to smolder. Russian authorities are concerned with the spread of radical Islamists in Russia and also concerned with instability in Central Asia. They're concerned that instability in Afghanistan will spill over into Chechnya. If our app solves instability in Central Asia, why is it relevant if Afghanistan and Russia cooperate?
Well, they need to cooperate in order to
Was this Dutch disease thing on the county plan?
Yes, yeah, that's been invented. I mean, our argument is that it's key to solve the instability, I guess. Turns the case. You might have a point there. Yeah.
Let's talk about your substantially argument.
God damn it. All right, sorry. What?
Okay.
Yeah.
So your argument is that substantially has to be determined by context. I kind of want to understand how contextual this has to be. Your Devrin evidence, which says it's doubling, is referring to a proposal from Eifert and Geld, and I don't know exactly what that proposal is, but it says the question that arises is whether their proposal should be modified if data is substantially scaled up, say double. Just because substantially, these people refer to it as a doubling of the amount of the percentage of GDP that we dedicate towards overall foreign aid efforts in the context of Eifert and Geld's proposal. Why is that in the context of foreign assistance to Afghanistan?
Because Eifert and Geld are writing about Afghanistan, and they think that to substantially increase foreign assistance.
Afghanistan, not in this card.
Afghanistan's not in the card. It is.
So I'm just wondering what determines context. If the context of the resolution is foreign assistance to Afghanistan, and your card does not include the phrase foreign assistance or Afghanistan.
It does say substantial though, which is in your plan text. So unless you
but
give
your
offensive
argument is
arguments,
that substantial is only determined by context. Have you read a piece of evidence in the context of foreign assistance or even Afghanistan?
I think our interpretation on T is that just substantial again, but yeah.
So do you understand? It's just like the one in there's a maximum. There's
spec, the randomness.
Pardon, please stop right there.
I can't. I can't stop the views too. Until PGA.
Yes. Well, actually, we can just try to one and three here. Did you take any of our cards? Or any of the disability advantage cards?
Okay, Top County unconditional. Stafford County or fake condition. Substantial. Spec. The case debate. I just closed. NATO and then Asia. Or Afghanistan. The counterpoint. Russia, shutting.
So, can you do it one more time?
Yeah.
The 4 T's in the case, but what after that?
Okay, after case.
Yeah.
The counterplan, Russia, shutting. Counter-interpretation must be corporate marketing next certification by definition conditional. There will be no change in the ties of the absence of fundamental change within the government. More evidence develops in the sixth certification defined by the accepted diplomatic relations with the hope that eventually undemocratic country will see the concern this applies conditionality shall serve for representative fulfilled history. No affirmative requirement to it became accepted in the practice of media describing the exchange certificate engagement with the carrying because one firm is able against the general section the engagement of the sort of counter under condition my government spoke with the sport of the evolutionary change containing little to the source of leverage obtained by the option to pull back later sport became the because practitioners are in argument the engagement of such conditionality spoke with the thing to the strong form of the pressure of the party the first organ by the most powerful force the first ball is given to give up and go away often spirits by property by the term constructive other definition or predictable real what the government decides to construct engagement display limits requiring commercial forces the only for cases that would target to say yes for the assault subordinates higher abuse of counterplace forcing the active man unconditional implementation makes consultant condition counterplanes that they compete the destroyed public education for war laziness and defense no risk of affirm will concede that Afghanistan will say yes to affirm to plan the offer preserves all negative grounds apples always make always defended the initial possible offer providing it incentive to the target country this provides negative stable mechanism ground the affirmative non-conditional will defend the implementation of our plan the unconditional the counterplace check back false reject competing interpretation which encourages the negative to go to top county side public education the win loss percentages equal to the negative this year this proves that all the negative ground claims are false and the topic explosion is not inevitable they say that we are contrived overflow. Our wilder evidence and provides a contextual interpretation for our claim to indicate that they must increase the foreign ministry or the ministry finances the authority they must assemble a plan for the inevitable bill but this should not be a test of one county but this should be a test of an unconditional counterclaim if we truly have a false move we would have no answer to your unconditional counterclaim would lose this is not a voting issue but is rather a way for other means of ground to check the fact our competing interpretations evidence and arguments indicate that the way voting on this argument destroys public education you should just read a counterclaim substantial. We made our plans as considerable that is substantial. We made our own the substantial considerable quantity prefer the dangerous about the day prefer the vagueness of our interpretation to the negative interpretation which is out of context the reference is not assume Afghanistan an arbitrary limit is worth no limit if the limit is not predictable no research should be based off of limit and the literature preserves the predictable limit if the affirmative is found advantage the negative should be able to find a designate the ground is reciprocal the action only gained again and advantage based upon the aid that we give it is equal into law systems in other words check in generic negative non-constructive engagement assures or land self-land distance competing interpretations is bad the negatives one for the last word NDT is going for substance to make the word substantial has never had the implication the affirmative is not conditional will defend the implementation of our our plan. We do not have to put substantial in our plan text like our counter-interpretations that the function of the plan must meet the resolution. The exact text does not matter. That does not preserve the limits. The affirmative consent of the United States federal will substantially increase its foreign assistance by providing $1 to Lebanon. The process picks putting it in the plan. It's inherent for the negative rate endless pixel which shielding off and after instantly preserve negative ground for reciprocal length. The solvency is equal with the circuit access to added condition confidence, unconditional confidence, hard to make is good. It is the NDT A spec. And counter-interpretation rules plus found domestic topics, all lecture office. We get the agent education when it's relevant. The agent lecture is currently about the policy. This is office for the current. There's no solvency outcome for specific agents on the topic makes it unlimitable to be covered topic education. The agent fees are still narrative extract from topic strategy to the amendment counterplan last year's proves of the process overwhelms. There's no routine agent on the only 5 cases and no being solved by all of your 9 counterplan office arguments. This is not a voting issue because it's not grounded within the resolution. The NATO debate. Well, when there are bulky evidence, they always determine the risk of their defense. There are evidence indicates that the United States is the death aspect of the United States economy in turn by linked to terrorism, the impact of nuclear war, media course, the evidence the collapse of NATO is indefinite within the rest of right. The evidence the success in the Afghan mission is the litmus test for the success of NATO within the future. Core evidence indicates that it's reverse causal. We can boost NATO's credibility through a successful the moment there are the next piece of evidence that does not qualify as too old. They say that the break their EU turn Afghan failure collapse both the NATO and the EU are May 312 the United Nations military begins the Afghanistan have wide implications for the EU. The EU has never been successful when it comes to expansion. Non-military actions of the Afghanistan will be you have to take care of the win the Atlantic alliance and the EU shall simultaneously arrest the defeat in Afghanistan will kill European soft power. Of course, the OE they made Afghanistan will destroy the future international efforts to stabilize the war countries in Europe to defeat Afghanistan would impair the world with both the common policy. They the EU's credibility going apart. European financial military political investment in Afghanistan is totally hard to make too often to go on. You notice the impact of extinction by 91. I know what they use on you things that you do with the lens of these deals with the lens of my functions and the global warming deal with the lens of forces was by the recession one country under the package to pay for individual state the limit coming in the EU can ensure the committee would prevail and the process of China or MoState that in Central Asia rather than instability of the cause of the center of sheet evidence cost of Afghanistan spills over internationally. There's no time frame for water wars or fellows evidence indicates that Afghanistan will collapse in 2008. The Pakistan does not spill over Afghanistan to the rest of the region. Afghanistan is unique because it houses the Taliban. To other international stability use not critical that's for Yayish Rashid evidence we solve Islamic extremism which by changing and accessing the public institutions as our settlers evidence the additionally to across our escalation evidence is able to overcome outweigh economic interest because it'll lead to miscalculation. They say additionally said the economy is resilient distance of our cold evidence of attack against the United States in the world in which we destroy our economy by massively increasing counter-proliferation measures that we do not agree just Pakistan war but rather Pakistan, Iran, and Russia. The unique synergy of 4 countries allows us to access nuclear war that's our star evidence. Terrorism is not inevitable. There's no time frame for a terrorist attack that's goal. Or the whole evidence indicates that Afghanistan is the hotbed of the problems and terrorism that pushes capital business is not responsive to ours. Able to still say yes or no to the plan that's our NPR duty. See evidence that they should the Shanghai cooperation and that Afghanistan will undermine that cooperation and that's not the counterplan debate. Their reduction of these arguments does not make sense in the context of our affirmative plan. They're held or evidence from every single other piece right on the counterplan is from 2005. It's not from Afghanistan. It assumes a world in which we give aid to increase development within the country, not a situation in which we give aid to the Afghan Air Force. There's no scenario for increasing the Afghan Air Force, affecting the demand for imports and exports. There's no internal link to this argument. This is not unique. These are the cross reference potential of the 1DC. We given massive billions of aid to South Korea. The United States is 33,200 Marines to Afghanistan. Say there's a congressional board of the OE. The United States sends $127 billion for reconstruction assistance. That's from Walker. Let's say $183 million to the airplane hangars at the airport. That's APOA. They Congress has allocated tens of billions of dollars globally since the some amendments. All this all this aid post-station evidence from 2005 make sure impact inevitable. The status quo, they make sure impact of airplane 9 days. Additionally, they say that the capacity is overstated. We do not collapse the Afghan government. The United States is coordinated. It gives assistance to them. Additionally, the right evidence is the reason that's why they would say no to the counterplan. It's functionally unconditional counterplan. They do not sell the airport or they come across our BBC and NPR. BBC and NPR evidence. They can discount these money each time to charge to the truth. They don't have to charge the price of pressure for countries making it possible to be verification. Do both make two separate interpretations. Do both make two separate independent offers. Also, you're going to capacity. Additionally, person will not follow the translation. Increase their long-term financial stability. That's our wilder evidence. Non-conditional aid creates Afghan independence and the stability of the regime and priority. There is insufficient difference in sustainability with attacking considerations. Afghan financial resources open the door to policy racial problems are not allowed with the accountability that was supported to donors and priority capital even if that's an external sense institutional reforms with the template we can forces that the same for additionally it's forces security damages to genuine state buildings across our wilder evidence unless it leads to full financial stability will be as 100% solvency taken and unconditional aid loss Afghanistan is being when your state and the center of unconditional should not cost the local capitalism and you don't have local control the opportunity to take mobilized control the table in the Afghan government there's a strong constituency for the right kind of conditions within the Afghan government the society will run the ideological conditional leaders we can write your state which will run with power providing opportunities for seeking friends and corrupt there's a scope of conditional which terms of people on the donors and how allows them to think out in terms within their performance Russia's spirit influences and permutation to the counterplan it's just an implementation counterplan which won't make its minor change for it's implemented authority that destroys that ground because this minor change within our plain text is a reason to justify the severance of the permutation of the Russian dissent. The search should have triggered the link up to the rather brings us to injured Russian bodies of Afghanistan, zero plus and continued U.S. Afghanistan commitments and symptoms condition 186 main person assessed where your evidence indicates that Russia is not able to solve this task for entire. What is these offense against this dissent? There's no link to this slur, no place seems to Russia getting pissed off at the United States not effectively solving Russia. Not linked to Chechen others here, probably this impact Russia has no influence in the Middle East Johnson. And evidence of Molotov leading Russian expert, the scientists believe the accepted the Russian opponents to influence the Middle East opposing to Russia. Russia is the war leader responsible today. You only retain the present federation, the fight force of the Russia, which no specific evidence Russia doesn't give a damn about the Afghan air for the use of leading. Training mission is successful, that's no evidence and success. Not cause of left Chechen, they only say fight men below. Men agree that the apocalypse snares find common the reason for the Russian Federation is small for the consolidation of Soviet Union regional work. Showing this in our cases and impact that determines this argument agreeing that's why we should show any mark that these methods aid the indicates it's not unique and successful. Extension outweighs our moral obligation to shine black and hate, no the concern for humanity, but reverse from the will of humanity from the sake of stress, but that's for sake following special will be correct thing into that. Ten will should connect right really fast about the reverse for bringing about the peace cycle the way the world is saying, was at stake we have to have responsibility for responsibility in the big impact that way our duty to shun mulberries. Any have the obligation of self-preservation it is to shun only at the grocery town or need to start with my duty is self-preservation overrides the duty to shun there's essential interest of the state for example the duty is protecting against such interest overrides the duty to shun the nation not ultimately to alienate the trading partner who's only source of violent courts of the arguments are showing to be bad and only to avoid the inconvenient duty to shun does not render them invalid they may be but only need and may not be but not mean any hypocrisy or inconsistency is shunning the one nation for the certain attacks on them and finishing
I got a few quick questions before the text. On the NATO, their add-on is European soft power grid.
yes.
Alright. The extinction is disease, warming, and decon.
Yeah, our Brunton evidence indicates that the European Union is an institutional check that is able to stabilize global conflicts.
The internal link to this, I guess, is it that you have two internal links? Is it that,
Yes.
or is it just stability?
No, I think that we have two internal links. One is the stability and one is the collapse of NATO.
Okay, so do you read in the 2AC, well, you've got ERNA, or whatever, it says Afghan failure collapses to the EU. You've got Corsi who says defeat in Afghanistan, so that just sounds like stability to me.
Sure, but this evidence indicates that if NATO falls, it will bring down the EU as well.
The EU, okay. Oh, and the theory arguments on, the only theory arguments I have in 2AC is bad and generally bad?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you. What?
Can I go last card?
Yes.
Okay. I just want to be sure, you know, you're pretty fast and I write pretty slow. You don't seem to have any offense on this Russian flow, right? Just a couple of defensive conversions?
I think our case is offense.
Right, well, case not later, that's not offense.
Case turns to this end, your impact is stability.
Oh, okay, I see, that's fine, that's fine.
Instability in Afghanistan guts Russia's influence if the world, if Afghanistan is falling
No,
to
I
pieces,
understand.
Russia looks like a joker.
Okay, I understand. Let's see, you repeat evidence that Russia has no influence in the Middle East, and I'm not trying to come down on that topic committee or anything, but this evidence is talking about things like Israel and Palestine. Do you have any evidence that says Russia doesn't have any influence in Central Asia, a country, like, or in Afghanistan, which is in Central Asia, a country they share a border with?
Okay, that evidence doesn't directly spot Afghanistan, but it does speak to the regional implications, and we have multiple pieces of evidence, about 6, that the United States is massively boosting it in aid in Central Asia. So the conjunction of non-unique with Afghanistan and the broader perception.
Sorry, I got another question. You make an argument on NATO about why this flow accesses the stability flow or something. Is it that NATO solves for I didn't understand. There's the last analytical you made after you read the I thought I wrote spillover, but I don't know what that means.
I'm not really sure.
No, all right.
I know I made an argument on Uzbekistan about that. But that was slightly lower.
Okay.
I said that the only evidence.
At the bottom, the first thing on Afghanistan, you just said answers to the class of Afghanistan.
Last thing on NATO is the add-on impact.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, the question then is about your turn. You say that K solves Central Asian stability, which looks like a joker. Is it true that this minute evidence is defense to the impact of the 7YC? Concession doesn't cause collapse, right?
It's defense of Chechen.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
not sure what you mean.
What's the third argument you make on Russia? I don't solve that.
Russia doesn't solve instability, so you don't have to do this.
Really? The worst flow ever.
Yeah, like, the whole thing is like a disaster.
Yeah.
So moves.
I just want to make sure that.
Okay, all right. I've been using 237.
Yeah, I have 239, but I'll spend 37 hours.
You started again.
It's a little more embarrassing to do that because
Could you please,
Okay. How much more did that take?
now total has 3.
Hey, Steve.
No, I have like 4.5.
Actually, because of the way. Well, now I guess.
Really, I get job in a half a minute. Just for you guys.
they told me about some soda machines all the way down, all like 11. I gave him crap like
Alright. Okay, Steve, quick pro quote and overview. Oh, unconditional, yeah. Not the other one. Not the assault, yeah. Yeah, no, fair enough.
No, I actually had that.
Unconditional and overview. Okay, NATO. then substantial. Oh, then substantial pay. So, or the counterplan. Counterplan on the bottom.
After substantial?
I'm not going to go for T substantial, just the counterplan with the justification on there and the query. Okay. No T substantial.
There's 3 pieces of paper.
Yeah, there should be only 3 people. Or if there's one more going. Yeah, 3 You start. I got mine. Yeah, I'm surprised. Okay, whatever. Stop it. Here's some shiny hours.
An additional 20 seconds.
Now
Okay. Over.
Constructive engagement began in South Africa. Our data evidence indicates in the case study where there was no quid pro quo, merely concessions or temporary evidence indicates historical reference is critical to the affirmative cannot present proof that the model was not predicted for. Rally constructive engagement must be contextualized as well because of incessant abuse from Crocker in negative particular policy records to constructive people get a certain definition. Nobody has an interest in accurately defining the term as developed declaration. And another example is China Green and talk through the constructive engagement administration held the content to remove Western trace and would bring improvement. Second is Myanmar, which in the subtitle has been constructive engagement, matters, social affairs, constructive engagement, Myanmar, national criticism. Third is Korea, Elvin, 2 souls, constructive engagement policy and abuse of goal. Can wait, there was no quid pro quo South Africa, both the import discussion with the US have dealt chiefly with the situation South Africa, much discussed about international no quid pro quo interpretation to make a constructive engagement with South Africa was unconditionally under some sense of conditional engagement came later, so separate strategy maker, 2000 US adopted policy officer said the constructive engagement was an induced or forced second priority constructive engagement triggering the antithesis conditional engagement this makes a sentence of penalty to totally different form of engagement, even though the quid pro quos are a form of constructive engagement, limits just so government how you rise the bit of law quid pro quos expose of this education, this law way benefits, 2, including the theories of cases, not all quid pro quos have a self-dedicated not from part of their counter tradition, you don't floodgates extend the predomination of self-defense constructively engaged in a country does not require conditioning sentence because of sovereignty laws to strike called conditional engagement, which is a fundamentally different. Here's another card under veil. In 86, South African authorities made care stew from the time constructive engagement took trade increase to regulation from the scope of cooperation with South Africa. Restriction of spending by military intelligence related no specific conditions were imposed on South Africa in exchange of constructive engagement might meet diplomatic overtures without conditions. Any change must be made voluntarily from ZAU, not constructive engagement, mutual persuasion, diplomacy, departments, meet all leadership through in both of the should be gradually voluntarily and transformed. Here's exclusive evidence paragraphs to the 7th engagement policy general persuasion should be measures of usual characteristics. Another card from YSR, I think the distinctive feature of engagement was characterized by all characteristics for the U.S. engaged in quiet diplomacy group, limits debate, limits the key standard neural literacy, student research brings clash, and improves career and critical thinking, every reputation claims assumes predictable limits that means overlimiting is better than underlimiting, and keeping decisions closed. You should err to a small topic. Here's some math. The number of puns astronomical. There are 5 quids and 5 closed. Under Architecture, there was 5 factorial quids, which is already 120 of the quids and quotes being mixed match combined. The number exposed to 14,400, assuming the quids and quotes cannot be Jefferson, which makes the number go even higher. Obviously, there are 4 more than 5 quids and quotes of each topic. After the example, understands the difference between these apps are not sustainable. They do not need to be because the last 2 years of randomization is rewarding not penance. Here's ethics works. In 06, in case of the specified goals possible, the virtual answer to fiscal human rights military boxing boxing meeting and also based on tested proven evidence. Their interpretation does not solve apps, can forge or fake quid pro quos or contrive them to act with the that has got intersections also natural terms, although fidelity literature arguments direct to judges and force rules on self the advocates to select the affirmative skew literature by offering huge carrots in exchange for tiny concession like Klinger cites these on the China topic. Don't bother, they must be able to defend language arguments because empirically a lot the act of the card. But U.S. incentive to says they want to make this concession. The judge will allow this unnatural way to characteristic also to nice internal policies that every senator requires the target to accept, which is an internal political decision, which will solve all the link arguments in the process of acceptance to justice stables and negotiating mechanisms. So the only difference is affirmative limits. There's also no literature that discusses the diplomatic process, quote unquote, so the heresy link arguments are just pretending the cancellation is all that's necessary with the one to see Bogdanovich evidence says here. Also solves the long-term requirement, which also link arguments, Corey Lopez in 98. Instead of policies go by response to news for doctors for the long-term process, don't need to process request for respect. There's no explicit condition of purpose for research basis for calculations and sequencing is that only our standard forces the U.S. to act first exchange between the conflict to ensure the absolute kind of quiz given to Afghanistan after Afghanistan gives America the course to later distance by clearly obey Afghanistan and act first, which and the is equally damning with Afghanistan because we're already engaged with necessity the exact same to that process just to something unconditional literature Turkish also limits out Lebanon. They don't have stable government, so it would be impossible for them to have a quid pro quo. Impossible for them to have a quid pro quo. They say offer. Offer just means to make available. Oxford 2004 students for accepted academics something available. More evidence. Oxford 2004 something for acceptance of presentation of a gift to someone who does not moot out the word offer. Otherwise, it would just say give. And competing interpretations are inevitable. Our framework provides criteria. Decrease such intervention, reasonable is arbitrary, and subjective. It's a logical director. Everything else superior. This subject to director space and literature on a race and bottom. It's still a voting issue for jurisdiction. There's Savellas have there's Savellas have its mean conclusion that makes it bidirectional from Savellas, so six conditional. Then certification implies a reluctance to play an active role. The use document to aid the certification reduce the use of to Cuba, and so the EU imposed conditional declaration. Another interpretation is USFG. It means belonging to something already mentioned from Cambridge 2007. Something's already been mentioned. USFG considered that relies on unconditional offers. Gamble in 03 underlying the subject of use notification in the Middle East of the capacity rewarding sees capacity punish, and that the largest effective condition that actually being offered by the U.S. Something like the wisdom was the U.S. should work with. Another that it gets two impacts. One, go to the top requires the name to get U.S. constructive engagement strategy due to the French and Japanese version. Adds alternative cases subtracting from space and on mistake education. Federal about policy will never occur. The U.S. constructive engagement with about resolve what makes us stupid, including is restrictive. Means that any code be extra topical. Carly 06 includes the use of restrictive to the extent the term maybe synonymous with means includes consistent to reduce off was no elements or applicable or including followed by specific term jurisdictions voting issue patterns means direct answer 83. The resolution determines which side is jurisdiction will potential jurisdiction request by the before the definition can be resolved in different minutes of arguments for which last resolution the substance of the argument will not matter how Kelly comes before theory. If we were inclined to cheating, the ground should not have occurred in the first place. Our cheating argument would not be premeditated. There's also no rules for the negative. The affirmative has to be topical. The negative bit. They say because the economy is not true. They only have a Russian entry link. They should not be able to explain this stuff because there's explosives to it. She can't explain them. In the cross section, she says it's a key litmus test. I will concede that you saved it, but will still not be able to be effective because the two reasons given by PR Newswire, the one and C which indicate the cops and all because the basic cops will also special defenses are not qualified to law. I think it is qualified. Also quotes history. Indicate that empirically NATO is not be able to solve these things. The Gallagher evidence is very good. The counter evidence also indicates that also indicates that the WEU would take the place of NATO, which would solve for the responsibilities better. This makes a comparative claim. And here's more evidence of transatlantic alliances ensures U.S. involvement in overseas wars. Connery in 95 did probably mission the post-Cold War era, far less likely to have immediate substantial effects on American interests in this scenario involving NATO actually forcing the computer on certainly inject the U.S. into a probe for the European conflict, which would be neither good nor wise. So only a situation for nuclear escalation from close principles to 1997, the cost of selective engagement involving far away great powers seriously thereof. Same way, nuclear escalation is a reason war about great power with the possibility of nuclear exchange. The reason America should be banned by others to speak this war with the consequence of this costly as this is the cause extinction direct to support great power war with nuclear wars and political and so effective higher than others. With great men to be able to ride the next century without the first magnitude contest of the global nuclear war, the presidential exists for a major dieback of human population. The WEU would also have been sent to solve the entire case of when you need offense to so to the EU, the group the EU software debate. First off, there's no impact to this because the economy is resilient and their claims are alarmist from Connery. In fact, it's not to suggest the alternative analysis of the national as the European plays very good xenophobia of such alarmism under our presence significant to 50 years of economic political competition. To the Western European parts of the world that pan-European institution, they also expect that the Western European Union already exists far from being a lame second choice in NATO or defensive achievement. Robust WEU would be superior to NATO. There's no impact to disease from global 95 hour infection and everything commanded makes counterattack and possible virtue not superhuman. Any microchip of water is all around something to do it once a day is durable, lethal, dominantly both viruses can everything once alarms to go to clean up the use of microbial life forms. Warming is cannot be stopped for sepsis from chemical fires are too late to prevent warming. The world's top leaders have been discussed, especially the IPCC. 2001 reports that even because global warming has already been no matter how many green cars sold and now global warming is inevitable, and the war would also access all these interlink arguments anyways would make disease worse and well to the warming and destroy the economy and destroy the economy. There's no interlink to destroy the entirety of the WEU. The steps that will consciousness of decrease our credibility with other powers, which is the reason that's why they would have a motive to unify, which is the internal war to our economy. Evidence and European self-power trades off with American hegemony. Current January 10th, Europe police are such that we can counter balance the U.S. and country transform the European pursuit power. Then so using American Europe self-power. European societies, Americans, most of the opening state Americans power. The next person would have to relinquish the force rate of anti-Americanism is US game and causes European wars left and free. There's an indicator version of the forfeit of extradition position of the states to fill the void refugees and proliferation will trigger down effect here for rise of pretext for violent unrest to cause alienation of America. Hansen 2005. This card made a true ally of Australia. Actually, I'm gonna scratch all these cards. Start scratching on current. But EU software doesn't solve anything from Diego January 15. There are opportunities for Europe and America to work together. Europe there's appreciates the unions to use hard soft power. However, take advantage of opportunities. Europe must look at their default tendencies to handle so many issues bilaterally. And good enough. Substantially. I'm not going to go with the counterplan too substantially. I'm not going to go with the justice's argument. They say conditionalities bad group all this. First off, new cases legitimate everything gets point kills pre-run negative or pre-turn required by shells in the United States. Perfect defensive eventual right criminal death. Visa point justifies multiple. Usually counterplan constructions all are just attempted back to square one. And the African round theory would incentivize new cases as theory of flying over George Washington used to do this. Also coaching and equity. Firmly this full use of coaches screen gets you full of the coaches we don't get to. And any exception to the argument the argument of the conditionality is good. Better than other sentences subject to base the plus office counterplan to capture the balance
logical, sensible is always an option. It's very done, is often to get to, and topic-based counterclaims or justification arguments, counterclaims like topic accuracy to get explicit commitment on the meaning of the plain conditional analysis, to use set of arguments, vote against the argument not being winning conditional bad, stuff, good enough reason to vote against us. Theory voters would undermine topic research, which is key to education, also make flexibility, and picks are find that benefits check for the reason for the counterclaim that would be enough literature check. We have evidence which relates to mechanisms of furnace resource loss as they have, so they have advice your job is also to the best policy, which always are critical to the counterclaim more people to because determined by the furnace interpretation of fiat, reject the argument of the team. If we win a conditional debate, they're going to go for fixing noise, which just proves that we should have to.
Real quick on NATO, so you scratched all the EU bad and you just went for EU ineffective?
Yeah.
Okay, and your offense to why NATO's bad is the great power war and then trades off with the EU?
The WE, yeah.
What's the WE?
It's like the Western European Union.
Okay, real quick, the evidence that you read that NATO is bad because it leads to wars from Connery 95.
Yeah.
What war has NATO drawn the United States into in the past 10 years? It seems like it's more likely the United States pushing. Your evidence is 13 years old and does not assume the Bush administration and a more controlling United States.
Sure, your card's 10 years old, doesn't assume the Bush administration will more controlling the United States.
But we have the observer
so we should
evidence.
just debate the warrants.
The warrant is
impact evidence that's newer than the 90s.
topicality. The door was kind of going in and out, so I didn't quite hear. Is your framework and what you're prioritizing historical accuracy, or what is better for debate?
Well, historical accuracy just determined, that's like a reason why the interpretation evidence would be preferred. But we think that limits should come before everything else as far as like which interpretation
Okay.
is best.
How do the judges evaluate historical accuracy? I know your only answer to our Tabelis evidence is that it allows bidirectionality, but Tabelis gives a historical situation in which the United States, which the EU used conditionality for Cuba. You give 3 more history. If Stephen reads 2 more, do we just count it up in the number of historical examples, more on which side of the ledger, or how do you evaluate historical interpretation when the evidence is derivative factors?
Well, I guess you just debate about what actually occurred in these instances. I think that what actually occurred with the EU constructive engagement with Cuba is they justified less
Okay. Did you read a piece of evidence on this, or is this
yes,
just
this is all card that I read. I also
the
have
bidirectionality? Okay.
I also have
The
3
limit-
cards on South Africa, which
Okay.
is the only instance that you...
The limits debate, 50 factorial. Why does the unconditional counterclaim
It's just
not
5
remedy?
factorial, but unless there's 50 quids,
Okay,
in which case
whatever.
you're really going
The unconditional counterclaim, how does that not remedy all of the arguments as to why there's a false quid pro quo if the quo is
I gave a
not
list of
necessary?
reasons. The first is literature doesn't assume the interpretation like most debaters act like it does. Second,
But if you write
Well,
a
just-
generic counterclaim, if
if
you
we-
read Harvard's counterclaim with a generic QPQK, how would the act ever beat that counterclaim if they did
Because-
not have a legitimate QPQK?
because if you're going to solve for the advantages that come from the quo, you have to have a card that says just giving the quid is enough. If you can't predict the combination, you can't have that counterclaim.
If there is zero solvency evidence that indicates that they should be linked, why does the asking portion of that plank of that counterclaim not remedy each other?
If there's zero solvency evidence that they should
There's
be-
zero solvency evidence that there needs to be an explicit quid pro quo.
Oh,
You can read an
this is
unconditional
just-
counterclaim and ask the target country
Yeah.
to make the quo
And
with
ask.
the QPQK. That's what Harvard's done all year long.
not against me, I guess. But I guess I don't feel like they're trying
Bidirectionality.
to pass the quid
Bidirectionality.
and
I understand
ask
that countries can say yes or no, but the affirmative, ultimately, every single instance must defend an initial offer of a positive action. Why can't the
First off,
negative as a
that's-
generic blueprint read a hardline counterclaim with all of your initial engagement bad arguments,
Because
and
you
then
can-
read a politics decision?
Because you can say that it's a trick, just like KU and you did earlier, where you solved
Yes,
everything
so you
together.
read a counterclaim to have the UN do sanctions and Bush good links off of initial construction engagement.
No.
Russia, stability.
We're just scratching the link card and you put it off the edge.
We just take a second to totally clarify this. So the 2 cards we scratched are EU trades off with hedge and which causes European wars.
Yeah.
Anything else?
No, those are scratch.
Okay.
Oh, no, I'm gonna scratch 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, also the alienation part.
Yes,
And then
current,
keeping
Hansen, and
data.
Locke were scratched. Right.
Okay.
What's the other one?
Russia and stability.
It's a good thing I don't have to try too hard to look like a dumbass and cross-accent that makes the 2AC drastically under this disadvantage. We were making an argument that Russia, they make an argument that Russia doesn't solve Central Asia and stability. This means they functionally consider an alternate cost of the case impact. We may not be able to go for the 1 and C impact if we make this concession, but we will go into the stability in Afghanistan is bad, and those impacts won't escalate. They say that the surge should have triggered our evidence willing to get this too small relative to the link that our evidence draws distinction between the true presence and control of resources, which Russia's strategic thinkers think is more important. They say it's increasing the status quo. This does not matter as long as the increase in the status quo is not going to solve stability in Afghanistan. They say Russia is not going to be able to solve stability. Russia doesn't want stability as keys. The United States has a reason for building this house pipeline. There's no link to they say there's no link to the Russia issue, and that they wouldn't be able to solve this. This argument is answered above. It's an indication why Russia won't be able to solve stability in this situation. Instead, their argument about how the case runs this argument, the relatively how many unions for it. They say there's no influence in the Middle East. This evidence is talked about in cross-examination. She concedes that it's about the Middle East, not Central Asia. Our evidence is more specific to Afghanistan, which provides preferred. They say that the case solved, and they also say they also read this minute evidence that says that secession doesn't have no impact. I can see this minute evidence secession doesn't have an impact, which means that there's no in this case. She also makes no link arguments to why because the status quo is the same thing as the present, but the process stability will still be able to trigger our link from blank in 2006. Central Asia is also a region that is illustrated by Russia's couple of energy exports. American efforts also the Russian should embrace the Central Asia security. The possibility of Afghanistan also means the energy reserve against the United States pipeline is built to Afghanistan versions. The energy support of the rest of the regional security also priority control in Afghanistan means the rest of the insurgency and the country and plan causes a massive Russian pushback. They will throw down the guns to protect energy security from nation in 2007. Covers also pushed the foundation of Russian national oil. The energy has also become a source of creation relation between Afghanistan and Western partners. Russia also acts the territorial portion of the Arctic Down Revolution. The example of this sort of energy policy the gauntlet with the West, and this causes war from Barnett in 2007 for both the United States and Russia may be too far to go to the Russian Afghanistan the West. The United States also general situation with the control of the war, the Russian anti-Russian indoctrination underway. Prestigious leaders are helping Russia target missile weapons. The United States also face the up in 30 minutes, and that causes extinction and call of 2017. Only powers under the water Russia law that the United States the global confrontation increases by the power of the United States and Russia also and the industrialization now stability and stability is now already clear. In this case, the water and water disputes make this inevitable. Each issue is key from all during 2005. None of these sources describe the operations of economic political ethnic religious factors also impact performance and interest conflict the regional conflict. Regions themselves the weakness of the walls while unable to withstand the challenges. And the challenges of the walls. They extend this sheet evidence here that says there's no time frame for any of these arguments. This is the only part I have extended beyond advantage. The only advantage is just extending 2AC1s. They don't actually exist. The evidence doesn't draw any sort of time frame. They have conceded the argument. Our counter insult evidence include the radical Islamists causing in Uzbekistan and Tajikistan across the border to Afghanistan, which means Islamic ideology and Chechen and inevitable extent are all
I just want to make sure this stuff doesn't take out your EA, does it?
No, it doesn't. Yeah, instability is good for the okay. Now it's not all the the influence of the region. This is key. She says their evidence of Uzbekistan is not key. Their evidence does not say the word Uzbekistan, and I think ours is pretty good at how it has keeping more evidence from IGC in 2001. Uzbekistan also plays a pivotal role in the situation internal seed of the person of stability also brings more important to the political and economic performance of civil and risk also drawing between powers of repression and economic security. They say Afghanistan. They say that Afghanistan. There's no evidence on this question. It's in our source evidence. It just says that it's a big issue. This is a big issue. It does not say that is the key to stability. Our source evidence today. RLC is the key watershed. The all states will bump heads, and these which are not to stop. Now the conflict is escalated. Our troops all evidence economic and interest in foreign cause cooperation, which causes resource instability. She asserts this causes miscalculation. You'll read this evidence after all. Read the underlying portion. This evidence is talking about rearmament of fucking troops in Afghanistan, not nuclear armament. And if it did, that would be good because it would be opaque, and it would be opaque and it has stability for saying 1999 nuclear, which also states small arsenal was built up with security costs unlikely to be built in the required but also to experience also develop the siege. And the war is the nuclear arsenals will keep these effects reinforced to each other. And this would cause dialogue to solve this calculation from saying 98 from the unlimited nuclear proliferation to world armament controls like the technological advancement or relatively happens because armed difference all defects with the physical plague. But the rate of severe defects also does not happen. Timeline therefore response is not made based on tried. The optimal bargaining environment with negotiations are useful. Political territory situation in which there are more security agreements which are hard to contrast now. External are these gossip evidence indicate the SKO in China are key actors that work to solve the reason. They say it undermines SKO cooperation. Our evidence indicates the resilient out there on this question. Their evidence also is Russia and China or economic economic integration, use more non-direct argument, the economy as stability, the economy resilient, as depression, resistance, as things like AIDS, the collapse of the Soviet Union, etc. That instability was going to cause economic collapse, then the collapse of the largest superpower in the world should have already caused it. They say that counterpole with this cause, things like this happened in the past, it doesn't affect the economy. There's more evidence on this question from both in 2060. High school black and white also done in 2005. Hurricanes also as traditions in the market, global countries also immune system, there was sort of 25 stars probably also should be downturn. Based on the combination of macroeconomic costs, also improved flexibility there's no single shock in the cost. Now the impacts and war and hardly impacts and communication things exist all. They'll also the term right above we will solve this. They say impacts and Russia to the fore are involved. This is not talking about nuclear proliferation. The dialogue will be able to solve more evidence saying that the border between the impacts and also the US border will go back and nuclear follow on soon. Characterization laws to surface the also the role of nuclear has now terrorism. We've seen our hundred more evidence. The FBI director Cheney said that too many people want to attack too many things. This means retaliation would be inevitable. Extend or no retaliation causes trap for. But in this case, the United States interest that argument is conceded now. Our better evidence is no political capital because Iraq. She says the president of Syria that proves that she is fundamentally mishandled the argument. It's not about whether or not you can do the plan, but whether or not we should be able to mobilize political capital in the wake of the Iraq issue in order to have that war.
Hey, Martin, like, is there an independent TAP impact, or do you kick Chechnya and now it's just U.S. Russia?
Yeah, it's just U.S. Russia. The argument is that TAP gets built if Afghanistan is stable, and that means way more U.S. influence in the region, and that causes U.S. and Russia to bump.
Is your 1MC link card say TAP?
No, but piece of evidence really more.
So you have a block.
Yeah.
Okay, first one.
Martin, why don't we get kids? So, but they usually show up to Georgia State for a little bit. Yeah, my parents are the same thing. They like watching Yeah.
There were some people
I have no idea.
Oh no.
Up to you, man.
Yeah, no, I understand.
I don't know what's anything. I'm just going to line my lens straight down. Then I'll start with the counterplan.
I'm sorry, T and then what?
T, then the counterplan, then the native advantage, the stability advantage, and then your D.
T, counterplan, NATO, stability, Russia.
Okay. Go good?
Even through all their history arguments, you should refer to words under which interpretation is better for being. We're not debating about Myanmar or China, which means whatever interpretation is better for good. And direct engagement with wide superior. Also, the framing question for the debate with top county Spain is that there are only two debates left on this topic, voting on top counties not having a return effect. The only reason you should on top counties made it impossible for them to be negative people to running that have been quick for since GSU. You should be able to try to see the soon now. First argument says South Africa, Crocker is the better historical example. He says that even if there's not an explicit quid pro quo, we still have the ability to withdraw the outflow, which means there was always a quid pro quo on the table because we could have taken the care backwards. Why is much other says Robbins also indicates it is more severe because other people have a media bias, whereas Crocker is the insider who's constructing the terms. We have a better internal historical evaluation in the context of USFG to answer its argument. Also, there Myanmar and China will take the West Well, being able to do an internal history with our limits arguments are superior to their Baker argument there. First is we have an interpretation that's superior to good maintenance constructive and governments don't allow unconditional data trust grammatical interpretation constructive engagement is conditional refers to governments and unconditional when it's engaging the non-government organizations have themselves in 2K constructive engagement stores confusion interpretation will refer to something more than a policy of non-isolation so feature direct engagement violence and centralization and sense to shape behavior of countries with USS engagement may be conditional and change orientation may be unconditional factors not the policy for country that illustrates conditional engagement is geared towards the government unconditional engagement towards the country civil society or interpretation way of cross distinction they say not to the political solvency of the first our interpretation is better for limits all the government will always have to offer a positive and second we have to defend engagement A is all predictable just that tends to mechanism engagement B is that if we want to say no offer a bidirectional method just be out the result of saying no be engagement just that second is mechanism calculate the way security guarantees are also inherently bidirectional you give the security guarantee to Syria protecting more security guarantee Lebanon's correcting funds Syria are internally also at ways first is ground they allow to ban more average networks for negative ground because they don't have any offensive big tests and also foreign assistance and inherently broad only can only force to have a quid pro quo means to get the unconditional kind of plan to solve an infinite number foreign assistant cases also can solve their offense. You can offer a different parent for the same condition, or even add a condition to carry the offer, which also argues about fake quid pro quos, or large periods of Ivanovic evidence also says that you can't establish benchmarks with the country completely, but you do establish benchmarks through a dialogue, which means the definition, but which means the board's our interpretation, our corroboration says has to be quid pro quo, to those evidence is not include from it says that the EU and explicitly use conditional engagement, that's what's contracted based by limits, arguments, what they say explodes, they solvency evidence check, there's not solvent evidence for explicit quid pro quo, but the asking templates also will be ready and fortunately last time. You can explain, you can pick out the linkage between a quid pro quo and simply do the quid and ask them to do these, and a fake quid pro quo, you can always lose that template, also different templates also they can offer a different care about, they say a huge care for time concession, you can add a condition or be a different care about it, but they say there's no literature about typical process, there is also Haas evidence or about, there also is literature I saw the template proof the fact that there's actually also Japan bargain evidence, also they say sequencing, from our tradition means that from has to offer first, which means all there's that also offers to notify the program, which you must be given a chance to accept or call for 2 case words offer notify, or distinct definition, black coverage, and offers for things for acceptance of promise to refrain from doing specified thing that finds the board notify, as to inform the release argument, say, when Lebanon, we give conditional Lebanon assistance now, that's the Paris conference, they say, giving at the above, they said, when issue is jurisdiction, power, creation of top value should be a balancing act between the informed by explain that above, by directionality, explain above, we still have to, they still get to be engagement with decent pro bidirectional act, they just kind of plan to the end point, they say, it's we also solve it, our proper evidence lines, and also the evidence doesn't assume the context of resolution, because our context of resolution, our limits are contained any until if our actions don't applicable, they say include as restricted power, equal as part of constructive engagement, which means include is connected to including into one combo for the board, including into immediate having these things and some others, well known for having these things and some others well defined. Now, Kenneth and another theory, he makes an argument that having voting issues on theory arguments is bad for the trade of bids in the sense of the theory of substance, that's why you shouldn't vote on top county. Now the NATO adherence, they say, is critical to saving NATO, also then the city solves before it's even more true now that NATO is putting his role back and forth to come on. Now we'll hardly also solve with the Western EU offense, they can see the EU is massive investment activities in the field of Afghanistan, also shows credibility of the EU, their EU integration terms is 1995, the EU has already integrated, which means that they have no use for offense, also it's not a military alliance, which means all of our soldiers, and it's all that's going to mention for sure, Russia, which means we turn the will have to Russia to have a scenario for resolution, they said WMO solves case or solves evidence, case only military alliance, 15 hour EU software, they can see the plans terms of the EU software, that always our brother, it solves the economy, their economy is only service, so assume the subprime price between the economy seeking to break down in 2006 is assume additionally to seize double education, non-US under on exchange conditions, hands the project, quite the protecting rapid goal place, non-preservation movement, and all costs for the problem of creating the future, that chance to script problem for these people, the whole board, and stop more often, so the software becomes more open to 6 year of the software, and 7 children becomes climate change software, which climate change will recognize and gain great chance to world on for these, and attacking climate change driving some kids, police, which station needs to avoid things, and war access to controlling down activation, ways to our shab here, against the issues of term class WTO, or evidence to get to massively involved in Afghanistan via reconstruction, and also critical to Russia, they say software doesn't solve against God now. So, stability, there's a fundamental tension between the arguments we don't solve stability and the argument that stability is good. The Russian decided to win these arguments, we just win on your software, they said they say it's fully stable, which they will come first, we have an external terms, we just said the player becomes public presented by getting rid of cash police, our force evidence says the Paris president had retaliation laws, we solve global stability, all even if there's instability in Uzbekistan, there's great power involved in Afghanistan now, we feel like escalation, our Giuliani, other solving the case, the failure destroys US credibility, which means information strong police, which change arguments also we the failure in Afghanistan collapses the economy, media, and separately to extinction, our answer the resilience arguments above, they see Uzbekistan explain above Afghanistan's large internal, we can also only goes our way out of it, so Afghan instability spills over to other countries like Pakistan, situation where those countries don't spill back to Afghanistan, which controls direction of relations, especially they say in Pakistan doesn't assume, it assumes a bilateral conflict, it assumes bilateral conflict and a multilateral isolation, which arguments in the case of extinction, they say no retaliation or force evidence in case there would be polluted force duty and for the terrorists and stuff, arguments in the case without Afghanistan, there wouldn't be a launching point for terrorist attacks. Now the Russia decided our case terms, or they said their arguments just in the case of Russia is their argument doesn't make any sense either. A is that their religious fundamentally level of the U.S. is in Afghanistan now. The alternative to the plan is not the U.S. withdrawing from Afghanistan and getting Russia's spirit of influence, the U.S. trying to be in Afghanistan but failing. Their arguments does not say that they want it to be unstable, but they want the U.S. to get out because they think they're better at stability, because they don't have any needs for their terms. They say it will lead to Russian pushback because of TAP, Pakistan instability defense TAP deal. Then 2017 versus TAP backers, coalition campaign, political arrest, raising the question of potential investors to enforce TAP from the outside central control in either Afghanistan or Pakistan. Their war internally doesn't assume our defense will have their NATO terrorist isolation. Also, we have a large internally be a miscalculation of instability. So that means that Russia will get drawn into conflict. Russia will get drawn into conflict. Afghanistan would still into isolation. Their evidence in the case of Russia would deliberately go to war with the U.S. over Afghanistan just in case they would be pissed off. And other evidence states that across with Russia, the Russia would use nuclear weapons because they invaded their sphere of influence.
Last time? The only piece of evidence you read on tax was that it's not tax statement, right? Are there any arguments after that?
Did you read another global warming card, man? You did?
Would be like a professional.
You go to class and take notes, just like writing it down.
I agree that's one argument against it, but there are a lot of us judges who can't vote for shit. We're not actually writing anything.
You could do both. It could be like a massive copy.
That's probably true, but it may help in those few days.
Well, I think that's, I'm endorsing you guys, so, I don't think it was
I got a few more ideas. Anything I can get someone else.
Okay, ready? NATO, Russia, and then stability. Okay, ready? Stephen goes fast without saying a lot. The efficacy of the United States involvement inside the common repertoire of the two indicates that the transatlantic alliance and the United States involvement in overseas wars is the only way that we would get entangled in the conflicts. We do not begin the goals presence of both camps indicates this is the only situation that will lead to nuclear escalation. The first place indicates the possibility of a faraway exchange is the reason why we should try to dissolve NATO. The dire evidence indicates this is the most likely instance for a total extinction to be a massive dieback, and that the only way we can avoid this is by trying to manage the great powers. This argument is conceded. It is what should be a 100% risk. This will happen. This will happen unless we allow NATO to collapse. This year, the EU will be destroyed. That's not true. My spin is the evidence indicates that not that the EU will collapse, but they'll be subject to external criticism, which will lead to a motivation for internal unity, which was our internal linkage in the economy. Their evidence is just about rhetoricals, and they'd have to face up to it now that they would actually go away. They say they've indicated since there's no evidence on this. Also, NATO precludes they actually occur. They say it would be a military alliance system with the Gallagher evidence. The counter evidence indicates that this is what the NATO alliance actually prevents. The counter evidence is very good that if NATO did not exist, Washington would not currently invent it. The only difference is that Moscow is likely to be the WEU is less provocative. There are also reasons why our NATO argument was solved for the Russia argument. This is that turns Russia with no explanation. Our argument is the only one that talks about it indicates that Russia would be would be held in check far better by the WEU than they would by NATO because it was created with different philosophy and different plans for a different time, which is the Cold War. The common evidence read also indicates that their claims are alarmist, which should be used to indict all of their evidence, which indicates that they all this talk about how it will lead to the collapse of Europe, etc., the collapse of American interests. They're disproven by 50 years of economic cooperation. It started indicates that the WEU would be superior to NATO. This evidence makes a comparative claim. If you don't come across a card like that, you should ask me about it. They say soft power. They say soft power. The economy impacts the answer with two whole cards. They only have one line about it. The Screws evidence indicates that it has survived things like the Cold War, AIDS, etc. The past will be able to survive the collapse of European soft power. The private evidence also indicates that one thing would not be enough to cause it, which means they have displayed multiple interlinks. The disease impact their standard evidence about CDWs. They've also seen that war with the disease, as well as the collateral evidence indicates that every infectious disease that has ever plagued humanity is still subject to a counterattack and because it kills the host, or because it kills the horse, or we can adapt. This evidence indicates their evidence is just alarmism. The global warming evidence, they can see that war would cause global warming. It would obviously destroy the ocean. They've also seen it's too late to solve this. The San Francisco Chronicle evidence indicate it quotes an IPCC panel indicated that there's something that can be done, including what the EU does. They've also conceded the Danby evidence from January 15 indicates that nobody listens to the EU, which means that bilateral action on its own will not be able to solve for any of these impacts. The EU will not be able to solve for any of these impacts. You should avoid the EU, should avoid the NATO, should lead to the WEU. This would solve the best. They have no cards on WEU, and all their evidence is just hyperbole. The Russian is that there is no impact turn. There is no impact to a turn because we can see that the Chechnya conflict would not escalate, which means going for the link turn is nonsensical. The United States is in Afghanistan. The United States being in Afghanistan is not the link argument. Stability is the link argument because this is what allows us to build the tap. I asked you about this. You even heard me pause. And the case does not take out the case arguments not take out the interlink. The plan only needs the stability of Afghanistan in order to build the type in order to build the tap, which is different. It's not about whether or not Central Asia is stable. It's about whether or not we can actually go to the Afghanistan. It is a double bind. Whether they solve for instability, they lead to the tap, or they don't. They have no case. The NATO argument is separate because it's based on signal influence. They say that Pakistan's stability solves for the tap. This means we have a guaranteed link argument. If they win for Pakistan's stability, we can also still win that there is no escalation because you can be unstable and still not fighting a nuclear war, which means we can take out the terminal impact of this argument and ensures that we have a link argument. They say there isn't war because NATO would be able to solve this argument. With the United States, the WEU would be able to solve better according to our Connery evidence. They say that there would not be deliberation. Group this to the bottom. There would not be deliberate war. Group this to the bottom of the flow. The blank evidence from the one in our case, the Afghan stability. Because the tap threatens Russia's influence and energy security. This evidence is very good. It's a prerequisite in Afghanistan because it would be a prerequisite in Afghanistan. The first thing Russia would see the nation evidence indicates that this would cause a massive Russian political conflict. Indicates that
Russia tried to lay down this territorial claim and stability would infringe on this. The various evidence indicates that this will cause a war. This evidence indicates that missiles will wipe the U.S. off the face of the earth in 30 fucking minutes. The angle evidence also indicates this would cause extinction. The risk increases every day, names it as Armageddon. This obviously outweighs any sort of stability impact. We are winning. This war will not escalate. They have also no defense on this, which means we have two extinction areas that they have no offense on and no defense on this, which I think makes this a pretty easy decision. The stability debate. They say the terrorism retaliation, they will not be able to retaliate because it will be impossible to build political capital. We have a card on this, which is the Bremer evidence directed that one and are the twisty mishandled the sea. Suddenly, you don't have enough political capital to pass the language or shit. They conceded this. The Stratford also indicates that we do not have an interest to do this. Terrorism is inevitable according to the high evidence, but will not be able to retaliate, which is their only interest. They don't have a card that says terrorism use weapons of mass destruction, etc. They say the economy even caused by the e-cutters don't work up down there. They only have the meat 92 card, which is empirically disproven. Since meat 92, there's been multiple disruptions to the economy, which is just proof that this impact will not occur. The solution to evidence is correctly say India, Pakistan. We have a card from Harry. The one we see indicates that their approximate nuclear deterrence will prevent any sort of escalation, as well as the same evidence indicates that they will actually lead to more dialogue in between them, which will be able to stabilize this argument's drop. They say it will not stabilize, they'll just prevent them from using nukes against each other. They say that it will spill over. They have conceded that rearm will solve miscalculation. These are the cards that Clay raised. No one in there. I wasn't sure why I was doing this, but it all makes sense to me. There were two pieces of saying evidence indicates they'll cause dialogue because if they arm, they will do so in an opaque fashion, which is a motive for the countries to actually talk to each other. Stability could occur, but there would never actually be a real escalation. They've also conceded the SCO in China would be more important, which is the Gaussian evidence. There's no impact to miscalculation because you can be unstable without escalating to a nuclear war. The terrorism and India-Pakistan arguments are already answered above. They have conceded all the reasons why the Great Power War in Russia would turn this case. For some reason, I have 30 seconds left. I think this is nasty.
Do you want to extend the uniqueness card?
Instability is also inevitable status quo. The Oliger evidence and the radio for Europe evidence indicates that Uzbekistan is more important.
That's not the same thing as Afghanistan. They can solve stability.
Yeah, which means they can solve Afghanistan. We still get the tap link, but they won't be able to solve for broader Central Asia because Uzbekistan is more important. The reason is because, I'm not sure, but it says it's the thin layer between stability and instability.
Four, Hardy? You got 4.5. Try to fool yourself. 4 now. There.
Oh, it's not powerful.
Yeah.
I'm just not being very efficient.
Is there a search in a strategy issue, right?
Not which I'm aware, but I don't know a whole lot. Discuss it.
Wait, what? What about it?
Illegal reparations.
Hey, Chuck, can you even bring me into the question?
I would know.
Yeah.
The other ideas are, the restaurants and order your tables right, they have a little buzzer thing. I need to link that.
Dude, anytime I just say that, I love that space.
Stability, NATO, the dispatch. Zero cards in the debate indicating that Russia will not get drawn into Afghan instability means that the 2 NRs going for a fatally flawed blueprint there. Russian instability and escalation is doubled in Sasquatch and across our machine evidence. We did not read the Pakistan bilateral internal leaker evidence indicates that instability within Afghanistan constantly escalation in between India, Pakistan, Iran, and Russia, culminating in nuclear war. Giuliani evidence indicates this withdrawal and extinction. You can see that 2008 is the critical time frame where senseless evidence indicates that it's trying back for the entrenchment of the Taliban and Russia. Escalation is inevitable for the status quo. There's only ever something for plans able to stabilize this argument. The way they say that we didn't enter retaliation, the Tunisia, you're wrong. The extension of our Corsi evidence was our Tunisia evidence. Our Corsi evidence indicates that once the United States is struck by terrorists, the president will have no choice but to retaliate against internationally striking Mecca because we'll face such a public backlash for evidence indicating that the lack of political capital is descriptive of the status quo. It does not suit the upsurge of popular support for a retaliation strike once the United States is struck. They say terrorism is nibble or hybrid evidence. There might be some risk of terrorism with no time frame and with zero probability to 10 decades off into the future, but our Colby evidence indicates that Afghanistan is the hotbed for the Taliban, providing a quick internally for terrorism because the Taliban will be entrenched. 2008, interjecting that propensity for miscalculation is multiplied by the number of great powers that are involved in the status quo. There is no applicability that China's the Shanghai Cooperation Organization is to solve within the quick enough time frame. You'll win very little probability this argument. Your Uzbekistan argument makes no internal link or while the evidence indicates that southern Afghanistan is the linchpin to stability within the region. Our regime evidence indicates that it will escalate in this trial. We're controlling the time frame of 2008. The European soft power debate. The Western European Union doesn't matter because Osborne does no work to distinguish why there is a difference. There's just a difference in name, but there's no difference in quality or substance between these two organizations. We are controlling the internal linkage to the European Union. The European Union soft power and the Western European Union will be collapsed within the status quo. There's only a risk that the firm plan is able to boost this back. They said that we dropped our concrete evidence. This is answered back by the 2 hour, whether 1 hour's extension of our observer times evidence indicates that NATO functions as a deterrence check and is able to de-escalate work within the status quo because this serves as an institutional check. And additionally, we can access stabilization of a decreasing force through our European soft power advantage, even if the planning boosts our involvement with NATO on net. We decrease our involvement internationally by accessing the European Union. Our fronted evidence indicates that the European Union is an institutional stabilization check. It is not unique and inevitable because we're controlling our machine evidence and control the time frame. This argument is so stupid it doesn't matter if we didn't explicitly answer this within the 1 hour. It was destroyed within process. The concrete evidence from 1995, NATO is not drawing the United States into wars. The United States is drawing NATO into wars. The evidence by the Afghanistan and the Iraqi war, we are already there in the status quo. It's not unique. They cause European current assessment of the European Union leading to unity. Our Korsetsky evidence internally turns your unity argument indicating that the failure in Afghanistan will decimate the European Union's ability to establish a common foreign policy. The soft line and the isolationist members of the European Union will say that we should have never gotten involved in Afghanistan, but members of Britain will continue to push for Afghanistan, destroying the European Union's credibility. Our INRA evidence from 312 indicates that the European Union will get its fair share of the blame if NATO goes down. It will take the European with it. It will also take the Western European Union with it, even if our evidence does not explicitly refer to the Western European Union. They do no work to evidence able to distinguish this fact makes the Western European Union is able to destroy check back Russia, but it's destroyed as resulting from the plan. The alarm is if evidence is not, long as our Mike and Karp evidence are so good, indicating that then NATO is the critical test. That Afghanistan is a critical test space and the litmus test for NATO. Post-Crimea plan, and this argument does not apply to our European Union soft power evidence, except across our Brunton evidence. That we're not going for the economy impact. Our Steinberger evidence does assume disease. We did not read the biomarker Steinberger evidence. It indicates that disease will lead to extinction because of the increased transportation and the internationalization of globalization within the status quo. Your war access to disease is not unique. There's no time frame. There's zero evidence right upon this evidence. You should prefer our Brunton evidence. They say disease will kill the host. Does not assume the globalized world that is accessed by our Brunton evidence. Warming leads to war without it within a quick enough time frame. It is not too late to solve our Amin evidence as well as our Brunton evidence indicate the European Union is able to slow the effects for warming within the status quo. The impact is extinction. They say the countries do not listen to the European Union. Does not assume the boosting European Union credibility that is accessed by successfully stabilizing Afghanistan. The Russia debate. In this trial now, war with Russia's left within the status quo. That's our machine evidence. Will escalate into nuclear war. That's our starter evidence. And our observer evidence from our Afghanistan. It impacted the only way that they can get an internal link to this argument is if they spot as complete Afghanistan destruction in the status quo. That means that our impacts are fundamentally and definitionally more probable in a quicker time frame because they can only access their impacts once we already get our impacts within the status quo. And additionally, there is no link. It is not a black and white distinction between stability and instability. There are multiple different degrees. The current plan may lead to stabilization within the status quo, but it will not necessarily lead to enough stabilization in order to quell the investors' fears, which are necessary in order for the TAP to be built. It's across the hour, but Pakistan multiple causality. In case you didn't know, the TAP is the Turkestan, Afghanistan, Pakistan pipeline that must pass through Pakistan, but the province of Baluchistan is unstable within the status quo. We can still access our affirmative plan because we're able to stabilize enough in order to avert a nuclear war and avert a stabilization escalating into actual global destruction, but we do not necessarily stabilize the situation enough in order to boost business confidence enough for the investors to be able to pull this back within the status quo. Additionally, we're turning back Russian soft power because the group within the status quo. There's no perception-based internal link. They can see that there are 300 and 3,200 troops within the status. Their congressional report of the evidence. There are $200 billion set back in. There's a Walker evidence. The surge range claims the United States perception within the status quo. Your argument that Russia will suddenly flip out is only assumes a world in which the TAP is built, but there's no time frame for any of these arguments. The Russia-US war. They can see that their evidence does not indicate that there will be a deliberate United States-Russia war within the status quo. There's the propensity for miscalculation is higher in the world of instability within Afghanistan, meaning that we have a quicker, higher probability to enter a United States-Russia war. There is no their evidence that they exist. Their blank evidence does not indicate that Russia will necessarily actually strike the United States. The probability goes affirmative in the case of Rashid evidence.